Conformed to this world. Indoctrination. Indoctrination is the process of teaching someone to accept a set of beliefs, ideas, or doctrines without questioning or critically analyzing them. Unlike education, which encourages curiosity and independent thought, indoctrination focuses on instilling one-sided, unquestionable ideologies. Jesus taught people to think from within themselves. He did not try to change people, but to enlighten them, to free them from the bondage that life in the flesh projects. Key word there, projects. Moses said it first, centuries earlier, in Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 19. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore, choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. A choice set before the individual's own free will. When Jesus came, he fulfilled this scripture. Now from Romans chapter 12, verse 2. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 17. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. Most of what we call objective truth is really just inherited software running in the background. From birth, we're handed systems built to make large groups of people predictable and manageable. What counts as intelligence? What counts as worth? What a life is supposed to look like on a timeline? Who deserves dignity based on nothing more than where they were born? Once you start noticing it, it's hard to unsee. Religious indoctrination is the oldest version of this, and the most convincing, because it deals with the eternal and the unseen rather than the ordinary. Its rules feel absolute rather than learned. It works through a handful of familiar moves, a monopoly on who's allowed to speak for God, and the idea that a person is born fundamentally broken and must earn their way back to being worthy. Fear is an inherited flesh trait and used to override a person's own spirit consciousness. And the habit of pointing people outward to a priest, a hierarchy, a text, instead of toward their own direct experience of God that emanates from the heart. A life free of that isn't a life with no structure. It's a life where you become the one testing what's true rather than the one being told. Where experience is trusted over dogma, where your worth isn't measured by output or approval, where I don't know yet is a comfortable thing to say, and where goodness comes from an honest recognition of the life in another person rather than fear of a rule book. Jesus taught strip away centuries of institutional teaching and political editing, and the core of what Jesus taught looks exactly like a blueprint for breaking free of exactly this. Jesus challenged the gatekeepers directly, healing on the Sabbath, telling the religious establishment the rules were made to serve people, not the other way around. He offered direct connection over intermediaries. The kingdom of heaven is within you is about as complete a statement of that as Scripture has. Jesus lived entirely outside the systems that measure a person by wealth or status, and he spent his time with the people those systems had already written off. And when asked to summarize the entire law, he didn't hand back a longer rule book. He handed back one word: love. Compassion for God, compassion for your neighbor. A self-generated compass, not a fear-based one. The great irony of history is that a teacher who spent his life pointing people toward the divine already within them had his legacy turned into one of the largest institutionalized systems of dogma the world has ever seen. He taught a way of being. What came after turned it into a religion about him. MJI LightWorker, www.stairwaytoheaven.org